I thought you would be catching that, dude. What's that? Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Alright.
So you guys got this sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, it's like a word problem that you would use an inequality as opposed to an equation, okay? If you look at the first problem, somebody want to read the first problem for me? Exercise 1.
A school is taking a field trip with 195 students and 10 adults. Each bus can hold at most 40 students. We need to determine the smallest number of buses needed for the trip.
Okay. So, the numbers that we need, how many people do they need to go on this trip?
195 and 10 adults. So basically 205.
Good. So you add them and you get 205 people need to fit on the bus, right? Need to fit on the buses, I should say.
It will kill.
How many people can fit on one bus?
40.
Right? So we just basically need to figure out, okay, how many buses will be enough to get all these people. We're going to first do like, they're saying, we're going to do guess and check. Somebody just guess a number.
5.
5? All right, so let's say we have 5 buses, right? How many people can fit on 5 buses?
40.
Well, there's 40 can fit on each bus.
200.
40 times 5, good. So it's 5 buses, 40 people each. And when you multiply them, you get 200 people, right? So is that enough? 5 people left? All right, let's assume those 5 people are important. You can't leave them behind. So, can you order 5 buses and will that be enough?
No. I mean,
Not quite. It's almost enough. And really,
you could.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, in real life, what you might do is,
Take the train like that.
or, well, let's say it's going someplace where the train doesn't go. But what they might say is, you know what, instead of us ordering a whole bus for 5 people, they might say to a teacher, like, why don't you bring your car in, and then 5 people can go in your car, you can follow the bus up. But in this problem, they're talking about just buses, okay? So in other words, 5 buses wouldn't be enough, right? Because there'd be 5 people left behind, basically, right? So what's the smallest number of buses you can order?
6.
6.
Yeah, a whole extra bus.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, I always say this, right? You guys have been on trips, right? Do you think, let's say there's 6 buses. Do you think the first 5 buses, everybody fills on, and then the last bus, there's only be 5 people?
Yeah, they're going to split it up evenly. Yeah.
Like, because if you go and there's like these 6 buses there, you're going to be like, oh, let's go on this bus. There's nobody here, right? And then, so like, probably what will happen is they'll be kind of evenly filled amongst them or something, roughly, you know? But the thing is, you can't, right? You can't say, oh, well, if I had like 5.5 buses, then I could do it, because you can't get.
But you can't really get half
You can't get half of a bus, right? Okay. So in this case, the smallest number of buses that you could order would be 6. All right. So that was the guess and check part. We guessed pretty good. Okay. It only took us 2 guesses. Let's see how we do it with algebra. Let me just scroll down a second here. So we figured out we need 6 buses here. Let's actually do it with an inequality, and we'll actually solve it with algebra instead of just kind of figuring it out. Because what would happen if we had 923 students and each bus could hold 51 people? You know, it's like it would be harder to guess then, right? So let's see if we actually come up with an inequality and solve an inequality, that'll be a better way of solving it than just guessing. So it says let n be the number of buses. How many people fit on each bus?
40.
So how can I write a little expression that would tell you if you have n buses, there's 40 students can fit on there, on each bus?
Wait, okay. One more time.
Yeah.
How can I write a little expression that says this expression represents how many people can fit on n buses?
Oh.
What'd you say?
I was about to say 40B, but that's
Well, I'm using n.
all right. So 40n times 5.
No, you just said it. 40N, that's all you need. Right? If each bus holds 40 and there's N buses, you would just multiply the number of buses times 40, right? So if N is 1, you'd have 40 times 1 is 40 people, right? If N is 2, you'd have 40 times 2 is 80 people, etc. Okay? So this just shows you, and what you gotta remember, this thing always pops up in algebra, this type of configuration. If you go to the store and you buy 3 sodas, right? And then I say, okay, well, each soda is $1 each. So 3 times 1 would be $3, right? It's always the number of things times the value of one of them. So in this case, the value of one bus is what?
It's 40.
40 people. I'm not saying like how much does a bus cost. All we're concerned about the bus in this case is how many people can fit on the bus. So the value of the bus in this case is 40. It's like how many people can fit on. So this will be how many of them times the value of one of them, right? If you go to the store, you buy 3 sodas, how many sodas times the value or the cost of one, okay? Same idea. If you were then to buy potato chips as well, you know, you might have something like that. I'm buying 3 sodas, and each soda costs S, and 2 bags of potato chips, where each bag costs P. You have to multiply that times that times that, add it together. That's how much you owe them, right?
Right.
So it's the same idea here, right? So that's why, like, to me, this stuff is a little bit easier if you think about shopping, because we all shop. We all buy stuff in the store, right?
Yeah.
Yo.
Perfect.
Hold on.
Yeah, Mr. Kagan, why you break this down so smooth?
Say again?
Why you break it down so smooth?
Why do I do a regular? I mean,
kind of like that. That was pretty good.
thank you.
No problem.
So your question is, why do you understand it so good now? Well, I mean, look, that's how teaching should be, right? It's like I'm trying to make it so that, because I know sometimes when you see numbers and letters, it's sort of like, what the heck does it mean? But it's actually, if you think of it in terms of things that you use every day, it'll make it easier for you to understand, right? Okay?
I'm on number 2. Like,
Well, hold on. We didn't get to number 2 yet. We're still on number 1, right?
Hey. That's right there.
So look. So it says, write and solve an inequality that models this problem. So this is how many people can fit on N buses. We need the people who fit on the bus to be less than or greater than, less than or equal to what number? How many people are going?
205.
So, what inequality symbol am I missing here? What do I have to
So
put
less
here?
than or equal to. Rate. Wrong.
It has to be less than or equal to it, yes.
No. She was wrong, Peter. Tell her she was wrong.
Huh?
You can tell her she was wrong.
You can tell it's wrong?
And you can
How
tell
am I wrong? It can't be more than 205 people on the bus.
You're right.
So it's less than or equal to.
Right.
You know what? You can actually
At
write it
66,
either way. You can write it either way, guys. It depends on how you're using it. Let's leave it this way for now. So this is our inequality. Let's just solve for N here.
Alright, I got you right now.
How do we solve for N?
540 on my side.
Yep.
Well, divide by 40 on both sides. Yeah. You can use it either way. You'll see in a second what I mean. So what's 205 divided by 40?
5.125.
You know what? It doesn't work this way.
You could do 5.1.
We have to put greater than or equal to. You know why? Watch.
Get
Because right, if here we'd say like, if I said
What makes
3,
it different?
time out, hold on, let me show you. If let's say we said 3 buses, is 3 less than or equal to 5.125?
No.
No.
It is. So according to this, you'd say 3 buses would be okay. But how many people fit on 3 buses? What's 3 times 40? 120. We need 205. We have to write it the other way. Sorry about that. It has to be greater than or equal to.
This is not my subject, alright?
That's okay. Sometimes I get it wrong, but then like, once you get to here, you should be able to figure it out, okay? One way to think of it is we need to move at least 205 people, and whenever you see the phrase at least, that's always greater than or equal to. If you just make a note of this, okay?
Yo, you on it today. Like, shut up.
All right?
At
And
least.
if you ever see at most,
Mhm.
that is going to be less than or equal to. Just make notes of those things, okay? Huh?
So how does it break down?
Watch.
And then it's still gonna come out to 5.2.
So the number of buses has to be greater than or equal to 5 and 1/8 of a bus. That's actually 1/8 of a bus. So in other words, the number of buses has to be bigger than 5. So what's the smallest number that's bigger than 5?
4.
That's not bigger than 5.
6.
6. So the smallest number of buses you could get would have to be 6. All right? Well, we only did one of them. Don't worry about it. We'll do a couple more. Huh? If it was an equation, would you understand it better?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what you can do is you can put like an equal in the beginning, and maybe when you get down here, you can say, okay, did I have to use less than or greater than? Because it's the same concept, right? Okay? All right, let's go on to the next one here.
Well, yeah.
I can erase this, right?
Yeah, go for it. King. Have fun. Erase it.
I'm going for it. I went for it.
You tried.
That was great.
Right, he was awesome.
And
You
I'm
got
the
that little
people.
bottom little eraser parts right there too.
All right, so now there's a couple little problems that are where it's just going to be like writing a simple inequality from the problem. Let me actually bring it up on the screen instead of me like rewriting it each time. What's so funny over there?
He said, I gotta get this over. That's a bad bro. This is what we try to do it to you, bro.
Okay, here we go.
He was like, hell.
Okay?
Somebody got $2 bro, I'm not trusting that, bro. Okay.
All right, guys. So here is talking about this at least and at most thing, right? I said at least, and the way that I remember, it's the opposite of what you think. At least you would think it's less than, but it's greater than or equal to. And at most, you think most, oh, that must be greater than. No, it's the other way. It's less than or equal to. That's just how it always is, okay? Translate each of the following phrases into an inequality. Do not solve. So we're not even going to solve it. We just need to write what the inequality would be. So the first thing to do when you have these problems, clearly, watch them. The first thing to do is to find your n or your x. Now they were nice here. They actually wrote the n right there. Okay? Work backwards from there. 3 times a number n. So 3 times n. How do I write that? 3n is increased by 12 plus 12
Minus 32.
is at least 32.
Oh, well, equals 32.
Greater than or equal to 32. Now you don't even have to solve it, okay?
Whatever you're on the way, you don't have to solve it.
Guys, just remember, the key is to find your x and work backwards from there, okay? Any questions about this one? Let's go to the second one. The sum of 2 consecutive even integers, n and n plus 2. So wait, we have 2 numbers, n and n plus 2. It says the sum of them.
Alright, so
Sum is
n,
which operation?
plus addition, plus
Well, let's start with here first. N plus n plus 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be
So that's.
All right. Is at most. At most is what?
less than or equal to.
8. Now, what you're going to say is right. You could say, oh, I have an n and an n. Let me just put them together. What's n plus n?
Okay, I'm smart.
You are smart. So, I mean, if you left it like that, though, I wouldn't mark it wrong, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now they get a little bit tougher, but we can do the same thing.
That's right.
Find all numbers for which 5 less than half the number is at least 7. So, where's the x in that statement?
Find a number.
Half the number.
Half the number.
The number. That's your x right there. So let's go backwards. Half of x. How do you write that?
1/2. X
1/2
Yeah,
x. Keep going backwards.
minus 5.
5 less than that. Minus 5. Good. All right, there's nothing left here. Now we got to go forward. Is at least 7.
Less than.
Greater than or
Greater
equal to.
than or
Remember, it's the
equal to.
opposite of what you think.
Uh,
That's it.
That's it.
oh,
Make it look so
Now-
easy and stuff.
It is easy. Now, of course, it's easier for me because I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
But the procedure that I'm doing is what you're going to do. It's just, like, you're right, it gets easier after you do it, but the only way to make it easier is if you do a bunch of them, okay? It's not hard. I mean, it's sort of like a skill you have to learn. It's like riding a bicycle. If you don't know how to ride a bicycle, and you saw me riding a bicycle, you'd be like, that's impossible. You can't do that. How can you do that, right? But then if I show you how to ride a bicycle, you practice, guess what? It's the easiest thing in the world. Once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you don't even have to think about it to do it, right? You could not ride a bicycle for 5 years, pick it up, and you didn't forget, right? All right, so here, the only difference here, guys, they want us to solve this. How do we solve this? How do we get the x by itself?
oh.
Plus 5 on both sides.
Good.
Oh, okay, I got you. Right, the 66 said out to
7 plus 5 is what?
12.
12.
So how do I get rid of the half here?
1/2 divided by, 1/2
Huh?
both sides.
Take it, multiply by 2. You could either divide by 1/2, you could either say, all right, let me divide by a half on both sides, or you could multiply by 2 on both sides. Which one do you want to do?
Multiply by
Okay.
24.
So the 2's cancel out here. You just have x is greater than or equal to
24.
12 times 2 is 24. Let's just see if that works, okay? Give me a number that's, well, let's actually use 24. We'll try 24. What's half of 24?
2.
What's 12 take away 5?
7.
Is 7 greater than or equal to 7?
Yeah.
yes.
So that worked. Let's try a bigger number just to see. Let's use what? Give me a bigger number than 24.
32.
32. What's half of 32? 16. What's 16 take away 5? Is 11 greater than or equal to 7?
Yeah.
So we did something right. Okay. You know, I always like to double check because, Brianna, like I did earlier, sometimes I get confused whether it should be less than or greater than every now and then. But if you check your answers like that, if you check your answer with like 1 or 2 numbers, you can see if it's right or not. Okay. Any questions about any of this stuff so far?
Nope.
All right, we got one more like this that I'm going to let you guys try it, okay? Can I erase this? Did everybody copy this?
Go for it. Have fun, kiddo.
Find all numbers such that twice the sum of the number and 8 is at most 4. Now, I want you guys to do this on your own. Call me over when you got it. Just the way we were doing this, right? Find your x first and then work backwards. You didn't offer me any of that.
Because I bit on my tongue. I mean on my pen and
You
didn't
bit on
want
your tongue?
to-
That's all right. I don't drink coffee anymore. I'm just kidding. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I made a mistake. You had 2 of these papers, right? And they was both had the same reading, and they both had the same number. So I
Some of the numbers
That's the,
all right, well I read
they
them,
said
and
twice
it was
the
not
sum.
the right paper. I was reading.
Okay, you want to multiply n by 2. You want to multiply the sum. Yeah. Is that most?
Yeah, Mr. Keaton, it was like, the average trade
Yeah.
and it was like,
Can you-
both of them said 1 on the top.
So now you just
write it down.
so you gotta add the 8 too.
Okay. So I think one of them.
Yeah,
One
very
is
simple.
Yeah, see this one? Algebra 2 and algebra 1.
How do you write the sum of the number and
I think they're both in here though.
Yeah, it was difficult, but.
And plus 8.
okay, let's write that down. N plus 8.
Well, if you-
Oh, look, see,
Yeah, you put
you see, they both said 1.
Alright. No, they said twice the sum. Alright, so
Oh,
they're not
okay.
saying
Yeah, oh, I see what you're
times
saying.
X.
Yeah, well, you
they're
just gotta be
saying
careful, yeah.
The
And I
sum.
agree with that.
So how do you do two
So
times
just
the
go
sum?
back to
I don't know.
well, you know what, just, you know, just cross that out and put what the right thing should be up there.
Alright.
You know,
You're
just.
just saying
Twice
there's
the
a
sum.
I understand. That's all right. Neatness doesn't count, all right?
twice the sum. This is
You
the
get an
sum,
answer?
right? This whole thing is the sum. Yeah, yeah. Parentheses.
Twice the
We gotta solve it?
So
Yeah,
use
yeah,
your
solve
head. Go back. The sum of the number and the.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Now go backwards. It's twice the sum. Right, because you have to multiply it by 2 after you add those. So then you can go ahead and solve it, okay? What are you getting that for?
And check up.
What?
Some work?
No.
Please?
You're doing this work.
I'm gonna check about update, please.
What?
I'm gonna check about the update, but I accidentally.
No. You're supposed to do that
And
Alright.
the
another
is the
time.
sum,
I
right?
want you to do this first.
They said twice the sum, so they want you to do twice this whole thing. Okay? Yeah, so you gotta distribute it, so you use parentheses, right? Not distribute it.
When you did that, please.
I'm gonna go over this.
Yeah.
Why you do this? You have no proof. As
Right.
to-
I used to be able to do that.
Cut it all, do it separate.
Just the answer.
And then you have to put 2 in the block.
Yeah, which section is this?
Okay,
Right.
Oh,
Oh. This is the homework.
yeah. Solve for S here, and then solve for S there.
So, solve for S for both sides.
Yes.
So, cut that out.
Well, here.
Yeah.
Cut that out. And then do
Well,
that
here.
one.
So you're gonna say -5, oh, well, let's put the S's in. Say -19S, -19S.
Yeah.
You get -10 is greater than S plus 5. -5, you get -14 is greater than S. And do the same here. Okay? No problem.
Keegan.
Give them text so you can make
That was. Hey,
I gotta start reading your name.
Okay, we're gonna do this one together.
Diego.
Yes, that's when you know.
Let me see something.
I didn't remember when he said the numbers, and then I went back, I was like, I don't know if it was like 2x. And then,
Bless you.
I did, and then I went ahead and it was like 2x plus
You show them how to do it?
minus 4, so.
We're gonna go over this one together, okay, because this one's a little bit involved. Guys, let's go over the next one together, okay?
Okay. What you did is just 2 times x.
Okay.
Okay. X plus 8 is how you represent the sum, right?
Mhm.
So they want twice this whole thing.
Oh.
So what do you have to do?
Times it?
Times it, but what do you have to put in place here? There's one more thing you gotta put in.
Parentheses?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta put in parentheses around that. Okay, and it'll change your answer.
He said, no, you fucking know it, that's like.
All right, guys, turn a page over. We're gonna do exercise 5 together, just because this is sort of a big problem. And I don't mean like a big problem, like, oh, we can't handle it, it's too big a problem. It's just there's a lot of things going on. Who here has ever been to a concert at a stadium to see like somebody sing or like a rapper or something?
That's what it's all about.
Not even, you never went to like a high school or something to see a
I
band
went
play?
to the Jonas Brothers concert when I was
You went to see the Jonas Brothers?
Look at her, she
Okay.
just did it.
I had a big ass crush on Nick Jonas.
All right,
Oh, God.
let's pretend there's some band you want to see, they're playing at a concert, okay? They're playing at a stadium that holds 2,500 people, okay?
Okay.
Of the 2,500 seats, 350 are reserved for special guests. So in other words, if you pay extra, you can say, I want you to hold my seat. I might get there a little late or whatever. You don't have to worry about somebody taking your seat. All the other seats are first come, first served, okay? So,
What's that Jay-Z?
it says, when the doors open, people fill the seats at a rate of 10 seats per minute. So every minute that goes by, 10 people sit down. Everybody with me so far? Okay, so here they started like a table for us. We're going to start figuring this stuff out. After 1 minute, how many seats have been filled? If 10 seats per minute get filled. 10, good. And there's 350 reserved, so how many total seats have been taken up now?
13.
This plus that.
360.
360. Because you can't sit in these seats, they're reserved, and 10 people have already taken the other seats. That's how many seats have been taken up, okay? After 5 minutes, how many seats have been filled?
15.
Because you're multiplying it times 10 each time, right? Because every minute, 10 people sit down. So that's 50. 50 plus 350 is 400. Good. After 50 minutes, what's 50 times 10?
100. No.
No,
500.
500.
500. Good. When you multiply by 10, you just add a 0 at the end, right? And what's 500 plus 350?
780.
No, so it's 850.
850.
After 100 minutes,
1,000.
1,000 seats have been filled. Good. And 1,000 plus 350 is
1,350.
excellent. Okay. Now, before I go on, does everybody see how we filled this in? Where are we getting this from? The 10 is each minute 10 people sit down, right? So you have to multiply the number of minutes times 10, and then you got to add the 350 because people can't sit there. So now it says write an expression that calculates the number of seats filled and reserved in terms of the minutes m. Huh? So how can I write an expression that says for m minutes, this is how many people have filled up the seats? So what did we do first with this number? Okay, so if n is if m is the number, 10m, good, right? Because we always multiply the number of minutes times 10, so 10m. And then what do we do with the 350?
Times it. Add it.
So that's your expression that would represent how many seats have been filled after m minutes have gone by. Everybody got that? And again, like the thing I said before, right? The value in this case is 10, meaning every minute that passes, 10 people sit down. So you have to multiply the value times how many of them have gone by, okay? Just like I said with the soda and stuff, right? All right.
You're not solving it? No.
Not yet.
So that's it?
For that one, it just said write an expression. That's an expression. Now it says write an inequality that shows times and minutes before the stadium is overfilled. So we got to use this. That's the number of seats that have been taken. What do we have to compare that to see if the stadium is filled up yet? What number do we have to put here?
Right. Writing quantity
This is
2,500.
That's how many people can fit in the stadium, right? How many seats there are. So however many minutes have passed, you have to multiply that by 10, then add 350, and then make sure it doesn't go above that, right?
Yeah.
So this number has to be,
Less than or equal to?
yes, because you want it to be at most that, and at most is less than or equal to. Very good. Now you're going to solve it. Solve it, and we'll figure out how many minutes will pass until nobody can get in anymore. There's no more seats.
So 1,009 years.
Wait, I'm just solving right now.
Yeah, solve it right now. It's easy. I forget the answer, but if somebody says it, I'll remember it, I think. Oh, I remember it now. So we're trying to figure out how many minutes How many minutes? OD is not right. Unless you're talking in hexadecimal, 15 minutes. 215 minutes is correct. Good. So in English words, so we got M is less than or equal to 215. In words, what does that mean? Like, how would you say it? After 215 minutes, what happens?
The stadium's going to fill.
Stadium's going to be filled. That's right. Very good. Okay. So let's go down to the next one. At the rate that people are entering, will any more people be able to find a seat after 4 hours?
No.
How come? I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but you gotta convince me.
Well, because if it took like
Okay.
Alright.
What do you gotta do before you can? What do you gotta do with this 4 hours?
You gotta multiply by 6.
Good, because over here we were talking about minutes. This is hours. How many minutes are there in 4 hours? A lot.
240.
240 minutes. Good.
I said it.
So
Yo, you want a cookie or something? Like,
after 240 minutes, can anybody get a seat?
No.
No, because after 215, nobody can get a seat, right? So the only thing that was tricky here is you had to convert hours to minutes, right? That wasn't bad. So the answer is no. It says justify your answer, say because.
Look at number C.
Look at number C. That's fine. Yes. All right. To cover the cost of the stadium labor and other overhead costs, right? When you organize a concert, you have to like pay the band, you have to pay people to come take tickets and work their security, all that stuff. So they have to make this much money from selling tickets, right? It says if they sell tickets at $25 each, will they have covered the cost if 1,250 tickets are sold? Well, what do I do with the 25 and the 1,250 to see how much money they'll make?
Multiply.
Good. So what's 25 or 1,250 times 25? What is that?
31,250. 31,250.
What is it?
31,250.
Okay, we need that number. Let's see. Will they have covered the cost? So you want this number to be greater than or equal to that, right? To see if they made that much money. So this 31,250, is that greater than or equal to 39,000? No. So in other words, if all they sell is 1,250 tickets, they won't have made enough to cover all their costs. They'll lose money. Okay? All right, let me see if we can try this. I tried this earlier, it didn't work so good. What can they do to make more money?
Sell popcorn, candy,
Yeah.
soda, all that.
Okay, let's just talk about the tickets though. Just the tickets.
Increase the ticket.
yeah, increase the price, the ticket price.
Good. That's one way. You can say, all right, you know what? We're not making enough at $25 a ticket.
Or sell unreserved tickets higher.
Okay, that's the same thing. You can increase the tickets. You're talking about increasing the price, right?
Or if a person's not there by an hour, you can just give it to another person, but a little extra as well.
Yeah, I guess. But that still won't be a lot of money, probably.
Yeah, you can.
Well, so there's two things you can do. Number one is you charge more to get in. What's another way? If you leave the price the same, how can you make money just on the ticket sales? More money than that. How many people fit in the stadium?
2,500.
In this example, how many tickets did they sell?
But they need more tickets. They need to put out more tickets.
Well, not print out more tickets. They have the tickets.
31,250.
They need to sell more tickets. How can you do that?
Advertise.
Advertise, yes.
Oh.
You know, you hire Jay-Z to like, you know, go on TV and say like, oh man, you heard about this concert that's coming? Or you know what I mean? You advertise somewhere, you have commercials or something like that, right? Those are your two choices. You can either charge more or just get more people to sell for the same amount, okay? All right, we got one more problem here. So, Brianna, is this as bad as you thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the answer I wanted to hear.
I'm very so.
You're giving me all the answers. It seems like you do it pretty good.
Because you're with me. If I was to go home and do this, I would have ripped it up. I would have tightened.
We're gonna fix that, okay?
Okay.
A little bit at a time, okay?
Okay.
Let N represent the number of tickets sold. So this is how many tickets they sold. Write and solve an inequality that represents all values of N that guarantee the organizers will cover their ticket sales. How much money did they have to make to cover their costs?
39,000.
Yeah.
39,000. So we want them to make at least that much money, right? So it'll be greater than or equal to. So N is how many tickets they sold. How much does each ticket cost?
25.
25N has to be greater than or equal to 39,000. Solve that, and we'll figure out how many tickets they need to sell in order to turn a profit, in order to make money. We know it's got to be more than 1,250 because we already saw that wasn't enough, right?
So we got it, 1,500.
1,560 tickets. That's how many they need to sell, which is good because they still have room for almost another 1,000 people, right? Right. The stadium holds 2,500. They just have to figure out a way to make sure that everybody wants to come and buy tickets, right? All right. So look, I understand, but when you first see it, it looks complicated. There's a problem in the homework that is a lot like this. So you're going to have this next to you as you try to do the homework problem, okay?
That's what I always do.
Okay. Yeah, well, that helps. That's a smart thing to do. I even do that.
Yeah, which way right here do it?
Anybody have any questions about any of the stuff we just did? You'll see. Again, it's like it's tough. Now, and we're only going to do this for one lesson, and we'll keep coming back to word problems because everybody has trouble with word problems. I know, but what we want to do is, look, imagine if you can get to the place where you're like, you know, I don't really like word problems, but I can do them, you know, and just think that you don't have to worry about them anymore, right? All right, hold on, give me one second.
No, honey, even after high school, trust me, you was still the same. I believe, Brianna, you know this word problem? Like Keegan told you.
I mean, but you don't need this at night, though.
You really do.
No,
guys,
no X's, no nothing.
Problem number 3 on the back is a lot like this problem. Okay, you'll see. Very similar.
No te quiere mi amor. Ay, pobre.
No,
Los monos están en mi cabeza.
Can I check my email real quick? We're like practically almost done. Okay, I love you.
Soy el rey de los monos.
I mean, I know, but real quick. 5 seconds. Go.
Yeah, I just did it.
Too much. Damn, man.
Right.
I know my bananas.
Yeah, I just yeah, I'm done, princess.
Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you only got like 2 more points that way. You only got 2 more points away. I know, cause you like, I see 76 times. Keegan shit 76 times. That's so adorable. 76 times.
That's good.
That's hands to try.
She's in a different position. Alright, guys, Bill didn't ring yet. You got another couple minutes.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Just to get my first straight before the numbers about and this is mine.
Yeah, I think I. You know what? We'll put a post-it note on. So these are the ones that I want to put in there. These are the ones you should.
Oh, you passed it. Congratulations.
Hey, Thursday.
These are the ones you probably. These are the ones you did.
Let's rewrite
Right, yeah, that's a weird day to figure out both.
These are the ones
Come
that
back
was logged into the
today.
But you
checkout
didn't put like checks each one?
because that's the one that was confusing. I just looked over them and put a big check. I have it
How do I know which ones are right and which ones are wrong?
Oh, you need to
That's
know.
what I'm saying.
I mean, even if you just mark the ones that are wrong, you know what I mean? If they're right, even if they're wrong, you don't have
Okay.
them. Like you were doing
Now,
originally.
like you're
That
showing
would do it.
points, right? You have D's on every single side.
Like you would come one day be like, damn,
I
I
just-
was
I started doing
But
like-
then you got the day you was like, yo, thank God I got the exam.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
what
I
we tried.
said. Because that's the one that was like,
We
the
used
other
to
one that was like,
I feel you though, like sometimes
Okay.
it's cool, like you be like,
So it's like 17 plus 8.
I'll be
be
right
like,
back.
yo,
Yeah, I need posters for these. These are the ones you don't.
Oh, so you said these are the ones you
Messed
guys.
up all the time. Just went back and looked.
All right, so these are the ones.
But here is going to be 0 now, right?
For your thoughts.
0 less than.
Whatever.
0 less than. And then you can figure out this one cancels out. And then
see, like, I made a bad
Number
but with these, you have to do it on all 3 sides. Okay?
Are they that confusing? Are they bad?
Now this one is like, it has 2 inequalities.
Oh.
So you have to do it on every single side, right?
You know what? If it's 3, don't bother, okay? I didn't know they were that complicated.
That's what I like.
I'm coming back to you like
Yo, let me get that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let me get that because I gave him my ID.
November weather, huh?
It's not even November. It feels like the summer.
It feels like it's, yeah, it's like May.
this rain's not that right now, so I don't check those out.
Oh, right, because you're gonna be going out in the rain soon. So don't worry.
Right, and I didn't bring an umbrella.
Neither did I, my new girl, but hey, I'm at least sweating on my way to work today. So.
But not only that, they said on the news, this is just a
Oh, so you're
tease.
here all night.
It's gonna be 76 degrees tomorrow.
It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, sorry.
Well, it was after the bell. I'll pretend I didn't.
Alright, thanks for
This no. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting my laptop tomorrow.
All right, excellent.
But I'll be after school.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
But are they giving you internet access too?
Actually, on the internet access part, I have to find a way how to get internet access, but the thing is that I'm gonna start going to the library.
Oh, okay.
So not,
But when you get the computer, tell them, you know, like part of this is that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they already got.
I got my laptop, that means I'm getting other things that I don't
All right.
know.
Está bien.
I'm telling you, I got the email yesterday, I showed my husband like that. I said, I always get it when I want.
Alright, so we're probably good. Yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't think you have a trouble with this.
No.
So
It's just breaking it down.
if let's say, you know, if you want to come to me at lunch, you can do that.
How much?
Okay.
So we can break it down.
All right, no problem.
Because the first one with the, I kind of did good on it. I
Okay.
had to find out the overlap and do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you know what? That last section, was that the last section of the homework you were just doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Forget it then. I didn't realize it was gonna get that complicated. 'Cause
Yeah,
when
when
I
I was
was-
in the 90s, it was that K13, that section is mad hard.
Yeah.
I got a lot wrong when I didn't even hit 14 yet.
Okay.
I still got 14 left.
Let me go in and I wanna look at it and, I didn't realize that they got that complicated.
All right.
All right, so,
I'm gonna come back to
okay. Thanks.